Hello! I am going to show you how to make a pineapple upside down cake using a box cake mix. What you'll need for this is the box cake mix. Follow the directions on what temperature you need to preheat the oven and mix in all of the extras you need for the cake. You will also need a can of sliced pineapple rings, some maraschino cherries, 3/4 a cup of sugar, and 2/3 a cup of butter. What you will also need for this cake is a pan that can go in the oven and a serving dish that is larger than the pan you're going to be using. The first thing we need to do is mix up our cake batter, which I've already done, and now we're going to move to the stove. First, you need to melt your 2/3 cup of butter in the pan on the stove. Okay, this next part needs to be done kind of fast. You need to put in your 3/4 a cup of sugar, and this needs to be constantly stirred so that it doesn't burn. Now you just want to brown it. Make sure that the heat isn't on too high, because if it's on too high, once you start putting on the fruit, the sugar can burn so fast. After you've got your sugar nice and melted, how you like it, it's time to put the fruit on. Now, remember, the pineapple upside down cake, the whole point of making it is we're making it upside down. So after we're finished making it, we're going to flip it over, so whatever we put on the bottom now is actually going to be on the top of the cake. So, I have my pineapple rings, and I'm just going to lay them in the bottom of my pan. I like to make sure that every piece of cake is going to have at least one piece of pineapple. And the next thing we're going to do is add our cherries. Now if you don't like maraschino cherries, you don't have to put these in. I just like to do it to give it a little color. I am putting these maraschino cherries in the middle of all of the pineapple rings. It holds them in place so they don't roll around while it's cooking. So this is the design I have for my cake. This is going to be on the top of the cake. And the next thing you need to do is pour in your cake batter. Make sure you pour it evenly over the entire surface, otherwise your fruit might shift a little bit. So go kind of slow and try and cover each piece of fruit before you pour in the rest of it. If you see the sugar and butter kind of seeping up the edges, that's okay, because after we're finished cooking it, it's going to be flipped over and the butter and the sugar is just going to go everywhere anyways. And it tastes delicious. Alright, so I have already preheated my oven and it's ready to go in. And the directions on my cake says that it needs to be cooked at 350. So I'm just going to put that in there. And I am using a French vanilla box cake. That is my favorite with this one. So I'm going to cook it for 30 to 35 minutes. So I'm going to probably check it at about 30 minutes by sticking a toothpick in the middle of it and making sure that it comes out dry. So now that our cake is finished cooking, it's time to take it out. Have a metal spatula ready, because some of the fruit will be stuck to the bottom of the pan and you might have to quickly scrape it off and put it back onto the cake before the sugar hardens, because then it's almost impossible to get it back on. Okay, have your platter ready, and we're going to flip it over onto the platter. Take your cake, put the platter on top, and this has to be really fast so that the butter doesn't seep over the edges. Quickly flip it, and set it down. Now, lift the pan, the cake comes out, and only one piece of fruit was stuck, yay! Back on the cake, perfect. And here is your finished pineapple upside down cake.